So an official response over the Hong Kong racism issue with the Azkals has been released, and Hong Kong have been fined 33,000 Swiss francs, I understand, which translates to roughly 1.4 million pesos. Yabs, you were there, and we spoke about this before a long time ago on one of the episodes. Run us through again, because this is such a long time ago. I think we need to first refresh our memories about what happened.
Well, during the Hong Kong and Philippine friendly in Mong Kok Stadium, during the game, well, even before the game, because right after or during the national anthem, we couldn't hear ourselves holding the big flag. I mean, while we were singing the anthem, because everybody was booing while we were singing the anthem. So right then we knew that there was something odd about this game right from the get-go, because right from that time we were really, because that was the first time that happened. We went to different countries before with friendlies and with the Suzuki Cup before and tournaments, and this never happened to us. So along with the other co-players that were there, we were sort of taken aback by what happened.
What were the kind of things that they were shouting? What were the kind of things they were saying
during the anthem? They were just booing, and then during the game there's the usual jeering if you have the ball. I mean, it's usual, right? Yeah. But the one thing that's unusual was after the game, when the players went to celebrate with their fans, and when they were trying to celebrate with the fans, you see bottles half emptied water, half emptied bottles being thrown in the pitch, and some of the people were throwing it to the players, and there were a couple of fans, Hong Kong fans, going around the track, because there was a track around the stadium, and they were going around giving us the dirty finger. So I mean, if you're a traveling fan, and if you see that, you just don't know how to react, because it was such a hostile environment, and the fact that you're traveling there means that you have to check yourself, because you're not in your own homeland.
Yeah, of course. So, and then specifically relating to the accusations, the actual, given that it's out now and official, the actions of racism. What were the racist aspects of this?
Well, some of the Hong Kong supporters who were going out, because there's only one entrance to the stadium, so everybody has to go out the same way. We were still in the block, we didn't go out, and then some of them who were going out were calling us in Chinese slave nation, and I don't understand Chinese, but some of the guys who were there, some of the expats who were with us who understood Chinese knew what they were saying, and even one of the expats went down and to confront one of the guys, because one of them was pointing to his wife, who was calling her all sorts of bad stuff. Right. So the expat had to go down and had to get restrained by the police at that time, the stadium security, but he can't do anything about it because there was just too many of them, and there's just one security guy blocking the stairs. And we were kind of grateful that some of the husbands of the Philippines that were there, or the Philippines that were there, sort of blocked the other way so that they couldn't come up the block where we're in. So there was a lot of those coming in. So it was very traumatic for some of us, and since there were a lot of kids, the kids were a little there. Some of them were crying, and then since most of us were women in that section, of course you'll be a little bit taken aback by what happened. So it wasn't not a very good experience, thinking that you were visiting, so you expected more from them.
Looking at the repercussions from that, given that FIFA fined that, does this is this enough? Is this kind of like it's over in that sense? It's been punished, or does it not go far enough?
Well, I've been watching football for many times, and I've been reading a lot of incidents borderlining racism, especially from the players themselves. I think this may be one of those cases that there is justice in a way for them. The fact that it was a terrifying experience already, and the fact alone that the country involved, and they were, what I know, I saw a banner before the game recounting what happened in the shooting here in Manila a few years ago. It's just this quality, it's disappointing quality that you're just there to watch a game, and other people tend to ruin it for you. It's very disappointing. I know it happens anywhere, be it in a cinema or a sports stadium, but this is uncalled for, and at least we thank FIFA for doing its job in disciplining the Hong Kong Football Association. I just don't agree with their reaction for an appeal, because first and foremost, it's their fans. There's also an incident that happened here in the Philippines a few years ago against Indonesia, where the away fans themselves were calling racist remarks on our players, but at least it was controlled.
Yes.
It was stopped.
I was gonna say that the HKFA had the responsibility to segregate fans, because during that game there was no segregation whatsoever during the game. The Cajoleros who were there had to do the blocking themselves. You blocked a couple of rows just for the Filipino fans, because there was no such thing. There's a free seating. Everybody could sit anywhere. So we had to do the segregation ourselves. And when fans have to do that, and then something like this happens, you have to take into consideration that HKFA's responsibility to secure the safety of everyone.
Yeah.
So
that's why there's also usually in matches like this, there's always a committee that handles with fan matters. You just need to control everyone who arrives. Even in the Singapore game here last year, there were unruly Singapore fans that arrived, but at least they were taken care of accordingly. They were allocated a certain area only. That's the only area they'll be in.
So it's a pretty systematic problem, as you were saying. They really didn't handle that very well.
Yeah.
You mentioned as well that Hong Kong appealed, but there was also a statement made by the president.
Yeah.
It
It was not a big deal for them, but come on.
if it happened to them, I'm pretty sure that
Well,
they're not
I
gonna
doubt
react
that
the
it's
same
going
way.
to happen to them.
Tell
But
us more about what the president actually said in this statement.
No, he said it was a pretty minor incident, and that it was a pretty.
he was downplaying it.
He was downplaying it because the funny thing was he wasn't there during the game,
Which
so I don't know
ironic.
how he got the evidence or how he got the reports, just from reports. But if he was there during that game, he wouldn't have said it was minor, because if it happened to them, I'm sure he's gonna get more than that. It's not gonna be good.
Yeah, it's just interesting as well when you look at not just this as an isolated incident, all the different aspects of racism within modern football still.
Yes.
I mean, you can still argue that it's a lot better than it used to be, and it is, but that doesn't say that you shouldn't still progress even more.
I think.
And looking at that more, it's like, is it the priority of FIFA? Are they really interested in this as such? Because when you look at, for example, even in the last major international tournament, you've got Nicholas Bentner is fined more for
advertising.
for advertising than one of the countries got for racism.
Yeah.
Is it really a priority within that? And how much more?
I think this falls now on moral grounds on how FIFA should handle it. For me, what happened in what they did in Hong Kong, it's not enough for me. I think if FIFA would decide, I think a stadium ban would be enough just to control their fans as well. It's a lesson learned. It happens. UEFA also gives that punishment to some of the clubs. They have Champions League games play in closed stadiums.
Closed doors.
So
Yeah.
I think a stadium ban might be better, but let's see if anything happens from here on then.
I'd like to say that I'm really irked by comments saying that when you go there, you have to expect that something like this has to happen. But should it be like that?
Yeah, of course.
Of course not, right? Because racism and violence, it's never part of football. It's not about the game. It's something else, and it's really not good for sport, for those who watch the games.
But going back, I watched the Singapore second leg game in Jalan Besar. It was, for me, that was a hostile atmosphere. For 90 minutes, you can hear all the fans who were screaming, were jeering at the Filipino fans, with the players. But after the game, it's as if nothing happens. So the sportsmanship is there.
Yeah.
There's still respect between the two teams. You feel bitter, yes, because you lost, but at the end of the day, it's just a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's one of the ugly sides of the beautiful game, which hopefully, step by step, we can really improve on. we'll let you know about the updates as they come out regarding the Hong Kong FA and what happens with the appeal. But for now, Hong Kong have been fined up to 1.5 million pesos, including the admin fees with that, for the racism. And we'll give you the updates. Follow us there at FTW Sports.